Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and careers you didn't know about. And again, we're remote live at the Ocean's Edge Resort out on the Cape for the CWWA CTAWWA annual conference. And another old friend into the studio telling us about his career in water, Mr. Al Fiorillo from the Southington Water Department. Hi, Al. How you doing?
Hey, how are you doing, Dave?
Good. Move up to the microphone so we can hear you. So great. So tell us, how long you been with Southington?
Going on 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, 2013 I came on.
And you're the assistant superintendent of water?
Yes.
Okay. So so going back, tell us how you got into the water industry.
Well, I graduated from Central Connecticut State with a geography environmental studies degree.
Yeah.
And I was in environmental consulting for 14 years.
Okay.
Doing phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 environmental site assessments.
Okay. With what firm?
I was with TRC, ATC, URS, all the acronyms in the environmental business. Handex, Dames and Moore. So it was a lot of bouncing around. But,
Okay.
Yeah, so I was last laid off from TRC in 2012.
Okay.
And I was looking for a change. And
Okay.
I just applied to an engineering tech position at Southington Water Department, and I was hired there in March of 2013.
Nice. Nice. So when you graduated high school going into college, did you have any idea what you wanted to do?
Not at all. I probably didn't get my first full-time position in the environmental consulting business till I was 28.
Is that right?
So I was I graduated. It took me a little longer to graduate college, and I graduated, and then I was waiting tables and bartending and floundered at that for a little bit, and I was like, I got to do something with this degree that I have a bunch of student loans on. So
yes.
yeah, so I got a position at Department of Environmental Protection as they call it an EP program assistant, which is basically like a federally funded position.
Okay.
That the EPA would give the state money to hire like part-timers to do, filing and low-level stuff. So I worked for UST enforcement for a period of time, and then I went over to waste engineering and enforcement.
Okay.
And I was filing downstairs in the basement at DEP, and I bumped into someone I went to college with, and she was working for Dames and Moore at the time, and she's like, "Well, we're looking for, entry-level people." So it was just happenstance.
Okay.
I was probably making less than $10 an hour,
Okay.
25 hours a week at DEP, and still waiting tables and bartending. And so, that's how I got my first position in environmental consulting, is with someone I went to college with. And they were looking for people. So it was a lot of working on drill rigs, doing soil and groundwater sampling, and doing a lot of stuff out in the field for a long time.
So were you at Elm Street at DEP?
I was, right on Bushnell Park.
Yeah.
No, it was a great place. I worked with some great people, some smart people. So it was a good experience.
Good. So tell us what your day job consists of. Now that you're with Southington, what's that entail? First of all, how many customers does Southington have? Let's get that.
A little over 14,000 service connections. I think the population of the town is maybe about 45,000.
Okay. All right.
We're primarily a groundwater system.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6 aquifer wells, and then we subsidize that during peak demand in the summer with a seasonal treatment plant.
Okay.
So that our package plant only runs from maybe June to September during peak demand. So, to give you an example, in the winter, we're doing about 2.7 million gallons a day.
Okay.
And with irrigation alone, this is telling you how much people water their lawns, we peak up at about 7.4.
Wow.
So it like triples, just on irrigation. So
now, do you have any golf courses on irrigation?
Yes.
Okay.
Southington Country Club and Hawks Landing, and then our biggest consumer is Mount Southington.
For snowmaking.
They use treated water.
Really? For snowmaking?
They have a holding pond at the bottom of the mountain, but that's probably about 2 million gallons.
Okay.
So we have 2 meters feeding their holding pond.
Wow.
But we're in the process of determining whether we can get raw water up to them from our reservoirs up on Mount Southington. So
Yeah, you don't need treated water to make
no,
snow.
DPH flipped out. They're like, they're using treated water for. I'm like, yeah, it's been like that for a long time.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, and speaking with the GM there at Mount Southington, we're getting a little off track here, but
That's all right.
he's like, the treated water wreaks havoc on my snowmaking machines because they have all
sure.
brass fittings.
Oh, yeah.
It's and then in the winter it's all well water, so it's hard water.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
you get the calcium and
You go from one extreme to the other.
right. So
Wow.
we're hoping to find a solution to get him some raw water from our reservoirs. So to get back to what my daily day is, I'm 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I wear a hat as the operations manager as
Okay.
well. I manage the distribution staff and the treatment side as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do payroll on Mondays. I order uniforms for the guys.
Any job necessary.
I do HR. I handle union issues, union contracts. So it's unique. Southington's a unique municipal entity because it's not really, although it's considered a municipal water system, we aren't tied to the town in any way.
Oh, okay.
So we operate independently from the town. We
All
don't
right.
get any aid or taxpayer dollars. It's all
Okay.
ratepayer money.
Okay.
The town manager or the town council, they don't review our budgets. So
Okay.
it's run by a board of water commissioners.
Okay. Yeah.
So the superintendent and I we basically run the department.
Okay.
We manage all the capital improvement projects. We make sure water mains getting replaced and
Okay, sure.
and infrastructure's getting replaced, and then we're all those smaller things that seem insignificant. We handle all that as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So the day to
Move
day.
up on the microphone just so we
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. So it's everything in the day to day.
Now, how many staff do you have as far as
25.
25?
So on the management side, we have me, the superintendent, the office manager. We have a couple of girls up front in the office staff, and then between the treatment division and the distribution, there's about 22,
Okay.
21 or so.
All right. Now, do you guys do sewer at all?
No,
No, you
we're
just strictly water.
Strictly water.
Okay. Wow. Unbelievable. So what, 14,000?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Now, do you find as far as your distribution system, is it pretty much evenly laid out as far as that goes, or do you have any pressure zones or?
Yeah, we have basically 4 zones.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have 7 tanks,
Okay.
4 pressure zones, 3 pump stations, and and the treatment plant. And then we have 6 wells.
Okay. Now the wells, what are they? But 1 MGD.
Our big producer is 2 million a day.
Okay.
Over by Hawks Landing in the north end of Southington, and then all the rest of them are, 1.3 or less.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we're in the process of actually constructing a new well 10 that actually could probably do 3 million a day if we could get permitted for it, but we can't. So
Right.
it's in the same well field as well 9, so it's basically, that well 9, which is our biggest producer, was constructed in 1990,
Uh-huh.
and we're seeing production fall off.
Yeah.
Every time we redevelop, it's not, specific capacity was up over 200 when it was put in.
Right.
And when we redevelop the well, we only get it back to maybe 113.
Okay.
So we can, we could see that it's dropping off.
Declining a little bit.
So that original permit, when we permitted it back in 1989, was for 2 wells there, and we only built 1.
Okay.
So we got 1 under construction now, and it provides redundancy. It allows us to maybe reduce the wear and tear on the well 9.
Yep,
Maybe
yep.
run that at 1,000 gallons a minute instead of 2,000 gallons a minute
Okay,
during the
yep,
summer.
yep.
So we'll run 9 at 1,000, 10 at 1,000. If we lose 9, we can run that one at
Okay.
2,000. So
Now, as far as treatment, what are you doing for treatment? Just disinfection, or do you have iron and manganese, or?
no, just disinfection right now.
Really? So
I mean, we have 2 wells right now that do have manganese issues that are above, the action level.
Okay.
We're that's we don't run those during the winter. We as part of our management plan that we agreed to with DPH is that to reduce exposure, what they can exposure to manganese, we agreed, and we've been managing the system like this for a long time because we knew it. But before it was seen as an aesthetic issue, not a health issue. We would shut those down in the winter. Because we don't really need them. Maybe when the snow guns go on, they may go on a little bit, but we've been using those, turning those off in the winter. But so those two wells, it's going to need a treatment system. And right now, I think it's ballooned from. I think originally we were looking at plant construction in maybe 2010. It was like 10 million. It's up over 20.
Wow.
Now, so
well, the price of everything is,
right. It's huge, and it's like, where are we going to find that money? We can't increase the rates enough to even pay for that.
Right.
So we're hoping that right now it's an emerging contaminant. Maybe when there's an MCL established, maybe there'll be some related funds available to take that project on. But right now, with PFAS coming to the forefront. So that's kind of
that's the big elephant in the room.
Right. So we're currently doing some sampling.
Have you detected any PFAS yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
we've been lucky. Knock on wood.
And it's in places you would never why way over there. It's like you would never. It could be traveling for miles away in another town. You don't even same aquifer. So
right.
So we'll see what the data bears after we do some 4 consecutive quarters. I think we've only sampled 1 quarter so far.
Okay. Now, are all your wells on town-owned property, or do you lease, or how do you do that?
It's all on town-owned property.
It's all on town-owned property.
See, the original charter states from like 1910, when the town bought the waterworks from, it was run by a board of directors, and they bought it from a group of local factory owners, engineers. That the town owns the property. The water company owns the facilities.
Okay.
So if we buy a property for $1 million, it's the town's property, even though ratepayers paid for it.
Okay.
So it's a really kind of strange arrangement, and we can't sell property because if we bought a property and didn't end up needing it or using it, we would have to go before town council, get approval, because it's technically town property, even though we bought it.
Right.
It's a very unique arrangement, and I'm not really aware of any other municipality that has that same kind of arrangement. Maybe Watertown, I heard maybe. It's Watertown Fire District, which is a municipal entity, but it's separate from the town. They're not overseen by the town.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, that's the thing. You get into a situation where we only have one well, and basically it's 500,000 gallons a day, but we buy 60% of our water from MDC.
Even in the winter.
Even in the winter. Yeah. Well.
Probably less.
We try to run the well more but we still have a pay or take contract with MDC, so it's 147 million. So whatever. So
Portland maintains that well as well.
Yeah. It's at our public works facility. So that was a 60 foot gravel pack well that was put in the 50s. But it's when we had the reservoir online. The reservoir served the town, and we just used the well to augment the reservoir during the summer months when the reservoir level got down.
So production's holding steady there at that well.
Actually, we're basically pumping 400,000 a day.
Yeah.
We can push it to 500,000. As far as that goes. But our daily consumption is averaging between 700,000 and 800,000 a day. So, which is, for you guys, peanuts.
Yeah.
But during the summertime, we get up, 1.1, 1.2 million. We used to have golf courses on our thing, and then they ended up drilling an irrigation well. So, so they came off the system. But we've had situations where they still have the connection, where they've had issues with their system where they bought water for us. So, whatever.
Right.
From there. So, but that's about it. So, cool. All right. Do you live in Southington?
I don't. I currently live in Bristol,
Okay.
but I grew up, born and raised in Southington.
Oh, okay.
Graduated Southington High.
Okay. Great,
Yeah.
great. So
My family still lives there, and all my good friends live there. So I have roots there. So
there you go. So, anyway, as you know, I've got there's a lot of music history in my background as far as that goes.
Yes.
So what kind of music are you into? On a personal note here.
Well, my father was very into music when I was growing up in the 70s. He had huge record vinyl collections, so I was exposed to a lot of 60s and 70s rock. So I grew up with a lot of that, and then my mother was into disco.
Okay.
So I have, I like Sly and the Family Stone. I even like, I like Stevie Wonder. I like some funky stuff, but then I like Zeppelin, and I like the Beatles, and I like the Doobie Brothers, the Bad Company, But then the 90s were a huge part.
Yeah.
For me, that decade for me was that was my 60s.
Yeah.
As far as the, alternative music and grunge and stuff out of Seattle, and so I'm into a lot of that. I'm a big Pearl Jam fan.
There we go.
And Soundgarden and that type of stuff. So
Nice.
Foo Fighters, I like.
There you go. Well, it's Foo Fighters. They're going back out on tour.
Yeah, they got a new drummer and everything.
Yeah, and so forth. But unbelievable. Yeah, we had one of my drum teachers at the store that in Portland actually is playing with Ace Frehley. From Kiss. So he's out on. He left, moved out to L.A. and landed that gig. But he's doing the Ace Frehley gig. He's also doing Kicks, and he's also goes out with Mr. Big.
Oh yeah, wow.
So he comes back through. But I also do a music podcast at the store, so you can check out all of that. So anyway, if you got stuck on an island, what album would you bring with you?
Oh jeez, that's tough. I don't know. I don't know if I have a. Yeah, I don't know if I have one to be.
Okay.
There's a lot of different things that I like. That'd be a tough one, because I like to mix it up, because a lot of times I'll get bored with a certain album or a certain group, and then I'll go to somebody else and I'll come back to them.
Yeah.
I like U2.
Okay.
I'll listen to the hell out of them, and then I'm like, I'll put that aside, and then I'm gonna go over here for a little bit, and
well, taste change. You get the
right
variety. That's
right.
That's the thing. So, all right, if you got stuck on an island, what food could you eat every day?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Absolutely.
Good choice.
I'm a Fiorillo here. I like the pizza, Italian. So
there you go. Okay. I focus this podcast on attracting the reinforcing our aging workforce, so to speak. So, if you had any advice for a high school senior or a college freshman, what would you say about the industry?
There's opportunities, there's longevity, and there's good money. I think it's something that a lot of people don't know about, and I think at the tech school level, I think if students or younger kids were aware of the opportunities in our business, I think maybe we could turn a couple heads and people would come our way. But
sure.
I'm not quite sure the level of effort that's being done at the tech schools. I mean, I've heard talk about it. This is what we got to do. We got
Yeah.
But
and that's why I'm doing this. I'm getting this out there, and this is. Our industry, it's a very secure industry. It's not something that you can outsource. You need boots on the ground to, make the water flow, to fix the leaks, to read the meters. And
this job is security. I mean, there's always going to be a need for water in people's lives, and then there's going to be people that need to get it there. So
exactly it. So fantastic. So anyway, Al, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
I've been waiting for you to ask me.
All right. Well, hey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Al Fiorillo is in the house, the assistant superintendent for the town of Southington, and that concludes this episode of the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. So it's a big umbrella out there. So check it out if you're going onto your career path into school and so forth. Give us a look, because there's plenty of opportunity. So, Gal, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
All right.